Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will be going over 10 wellness habits or healthy habits that you can incorporate into your everyday life. These are things that I either do currently or are looking to implement and or just improve on. Like it's something I do, but I need to take it up a level. So these are the 10 things just as foundational things that I want to get into. If we're going to jump right in, the first one being water. That is like so basic, but I think it's so important. I do not drink enough water. And so for me, that is definitely one of my wellness goals that's just super foundational. There's a couple different frameworks I've been seeing. So like there's the whole gallon of water a day framework versus the half your weight in ounces. But then I also saw research that says women should get 2.7 liters of water. So like there's a lot of different, opinions out there in terms of how much water you should intake. I think for me, I'll probably do like a combination of these frameworks. So using the half my weight in water, that's at least a half a gallon. 2.7 liters is somewhere in between half a gallon and a gallon. So I'll just kind of use that as a metric. If I'm getting anywhere between half a gallon to a gallon, I think I'm in good shape. So that's my goal. So yeah, the first one, get that water intake in. The second one, again, super foundational. We can't take it for granted. It is sleep. I want to really work on my sleep hygiene. I have a bad habit of kind of falling asleep. Sometimes I'll fall asleep with the phone in my hand or just fall asleep on the couch or just being up late and just wearing myself out and just falling asleep wherever I fall, and then I have to get up and put myself to bed. So I want to get better about actually putting myself to bed, making the conscious decision and effort to lay it down, shut it down for the night, and close my eyes and go to sleep. I want to make sure I get 6 to 8 hours of sleep. I know that's the recommended, we all know that. For me, I definitely tend to err on the 8 hours of sleep side, but 7 or 6 hours is good for me as well, but that's the goal. And then another thing that is really good with sleep hygiene, I heard this in a podcast, it was some sleep expert making sure if you have trouble going to bed or you're a night owl like myself, you need to make sure you have an appointed bedtime and waking up time and don't deviate from that. So it's at 10 p.m. I need to be going to bed, at 5 a.m. I need to be waking up, even on the weekends, even if you don't have work or anything, just keeping that consistent so that it becomes a habit. So that is the goal for myself. Again, adjust that as you see fit, but making sure you have appointed sleep and wake times, getting that 6 to 8 hours in, or whatever you personally need is super important. A couple other things in terms of sleep. I want to make sure I have no light, no noise, and a weighted blanket. Just again, research says those things, adds to the quality of sleep and making sure we get really restful sleep. The one that might be an issue is the sound thing. I really enjoy ASMR. It helps me go to sleep. And so sometimes I will go to sleep with some music or nature sounds or ASMR sounds in the background, and they'll still be going all throughout the night. So I don't know how restful my sleep is, knowing that there's still sound going on. I'm sure it's not terrible, but I do want to try that complete darkness, complete silence, to really make sure I'm getting a good quality of sleep. So then the third thing I want to implement into my wellness routine are vitamins, supplements, and all of the So whatever, that broad category that falls under. So for me, I know I personally have done blood work to kind of see where my deficiencies are. So in my vitamin and supplement routine, I want to make sure that I'm also adding vitamin D and iron, as well as a regular multivitamin, your probiotics, things of that nature. And one thing that I have seen that research is kind of coming out that a lot of these supplements and vitamins are not FDA regulated. And so you just have to be careful with what brands you use, and as well as just the whole concept of vitamins and supplements, like absorption levels and just the effectiveness of it. I think it usually is best if you have a deficiency, then yes, make sure you supplement with that. Otherwise, if you're just pumping up a whole bunch of random supplements and vitamins into your system, they say a lot of times you're just gonna like poop it out. But for those of us who actually have certain deficiencies, like getting an extra dose of that is actually helpful. But again, just do your own research. Make sure you personalize it and customize it to you. I think that's very important with any and every routine or habit or tricks and tips to add into your lifestyle. You have to make sure that it's customized to you. There is no one size fits all. Which brings me into wellness habit number 4, which is skincare. I have again, very customized and tailored skincare routine. I actually made a whole video on it, so I will link it down in the description so you can check that out. But my skincare routine is esthetician approved, and it's specifically for acne prone skin, because that's what I have. And so it's like the 5 to 7 step, it's a handful of products, a handful of steps. But for me and my goals and my skin type, that's what I need to do to make sure that my skin is in good shape. But I definitely feel like I have that on lock, but something I want to improve on in this category is also the skin on the other parts of my body, like not just on the face, but making sure I like come together with like a skincare routine for the body. That's something that I definitely want to improve on. So I don't know, maybe I'll make another video about that, but those are some things to consider as well, making sure we up our skincare game. Number 5 on the list is meal prep. So I think it is important just so that one, we make sure you are eating and actually getting food in, because I know for myself, I do tend to do like a little intermittent fasting or meal skipping, or not even like for any like weight loss reasons per se, but because of just how my lifestyle is set up or because of my appetite or whatever. But I think it's important to plan out your meals and make sure you're at least eating the amount of meals you need to eat per day. But also I think meal prepping will make sure I'm making more healthy and mindful food choices for each meal and throughout the week. And so my goal with that, because I don't do it in current state, I'm really terrible at meal prepping, or even just like making sure I cook dinner and get lunch prepared. Sometimes I default to junk food or meals, and my junk food isn't complete junk, like they're kind of healthy snacks, but like snacks for dinner or pre-made meals type of thing. So like getting into just cooking good healthy food and prepping it out so that it's easy, that is the goal. 2 things I want to make sure I add to that is that I'm making sure I eat at least something green, get some leafy greens in there, just those veggies, like really want to pack that in and be plant-based or plant-forward in my diet, as well as reducing sugar. I have a sweet tooth like none other. I feel like I have been like monitoring it very well these days, and I make sure I don't really add sugar to things. If I do, I add agave, or honey, but I usually use agave. It's a natural sweetener. And the one thing I will say is from time to time, I do enjoy a little candy or a little sweet treat, but also alcohol. I found myself drinking a lot more wine because I received a lot of wine during my housewarming. So I, will crack a bottle open for dinner, or it's on the weekend or something like that. But with an increased alcohol intake, that also comes with increased sugar. And so it's something that I definitely want to be mindful of and watch. But again, those are my specific goals with the meal prepping, but just think about what meal prepping means to you. Again, customize it to how you see fit. Number 6 on the list is a workout plan, or getting some type of movement in for the day. For myself, I have sketched out this workout plan for the year. I had actually started my workout journey, started taking it more serious. Like at the end of 2022, I got a personal trainer, gym membership, started really like getting comfortable and used to the gym. Then, I kind of fell into that trap of like, oh, I have this vacation coming up, this summer vacation. Summer bodies are built in the winter. I would do some at-home workouts like in spurts, but it was never like fully, I feel like, a part of my lifestyle. But those were really good starts for me. Those were just like short challenges or goals, or I'm with this personal trainer for X amount of weeks, or I'm doing this 21 day workout plan on YouTube, which those are great. But for me, I know at the end of 2023, I really wanted to make working out a part of my lifestyle and make it a daily or day-to-day thing for me. And so I really did well, again, like Q4, like from October on through the rest of like 2023, I was in the gym quite a bit, like multiple times a week. Like there was one point where I was going like every day. So just like really building up that consistency. And I think one thing for me across all these habits and lifestyle changes and small improvements, it's about consistency. And so that was really building up my confidence, because I wanted to roll into 2024 with, that momentum and already having the membership, already knowing what I want to do. And it's so weird. Like when the new year hit, I definitely fell off a little bit. But now that I do feel like I have a renewed sense of motivation, because we're heading into spring, so it's not as hard to get out of the house and you don't have to brace the cold as much. Get out of the house and go to the gym, get a workout in. So that is my goal, or a habit that I definitely want to hone in on and increase and kind of get back jump started. For me, the goal is at least 3 times a week now. Before, the goal was like, I want to go to the gym every single day, which is a great goal. I don't know how attainable it is unless you're like a trainer or fitness enthusiast. Like that may be a little ambitious, but maybe not, depending on, you go in there just for 30 minutes or, however you want to tweak it. But for me, I think 3 times a week is super doable. And then for me, my routine for the most part consists of stretching, then working on a targeted body area, so either lower body, upper body, core, something like that, and doing like a circuit, kind of like a little mini HIIT circuit, and then a little cardio. So I'll like finish off on the treadmill or Stairmaster or elliptical, something like that. So that's kind of what I've tailored, again, for myself. This isn't actually like a trainer expert has like crafted this for me. This is actually something that I kind of fell into myself, of the flow that I like to work out in, because I also have learned that I don't mind a personal trainer. It was really, I think, good for my mindset and to kind of get me started. But I've realized that personal trainers, or even like workout classes with an instructor and other people, I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me. I prefer to go at my own pace. I prefer to mix and match things and kind of just customize things. That is one thing about me that's going to be like some of my themes of the things I talk about, or just my life in general, is just making sure things are like customized to me and my liking, as well as making sure I stay consistent. I think when it's customized to my interest or my liking or my body type or what have you, I think it's easier to rally around it. It gives you like a sense of like understanding and purpose behind whatever it is you're doing, whatever habit or routine you're implementing, and it makes it easier to stay consistent with that thing. So I think that's super important. So for working out, for me, it's like my own self-guided workout, that if I'm hitting those 3 buckets of stretching, moving a targeted body area, and then getting a little cardio, that to me, I get a good sweat in. I feel like I've hit all my bases. But I'm also not an expert. So if there are any fitness experts watching, please leave down in the comments below any tips and tricks that maybe I should add to that. I will continue to do my research and play around with things, but that's kind of my overarching goal for right now. Wellness habit number 7 is going outside, just getting some time with nature. I think that is good for both your body and your mental and your spiritual. I think it really could hit all of those targets, right? Like just getting some fresh air, not being in the house. For somebody who like works from home all the time or is just a homebody, like being outside, you can kind of take it for granted. You'll look up and you'll just find that you haven't gotten any fresh air, you haven't gotten some sunlight. So I think that is something for me I definitely want to implement a little more, especially now that I have like a beautiful back porch and we're coming into spring, like it's warming back up. I definitely want to utilize my back porch and maybe do some reading outside, as well as just getting some movement in. If I don't want to go to the gym, like taking a walk outside, or even, I don't have any pets, but my family has a dog, so I go over to my parents' house sometimes and visit with my little prince. He's so cute, and I don't know, maybe even taking him for a walk, like just having that like outside nature time, connecting with nature in general, and getting that fresh outside time is really good for you. So number 8 is more of a mental wellness habit, but it is phone hygiene. And so making sure we give the devices a break, and not get overstimulated, not get so caught up in social media and algorithms, one for like our whole like self-esteem purposes, but also just so that we're making sure we take a breather to actually do hobbies, do other things besides just consume. And also being on the phone, I feel like it can make you consume even in the sense of online shopping and stuff. So just making sure we're not over consuming, not being overstimulated, and just making sure we have a break from all of that. Like make sure we touch grass, get in touch with reality, not just stay in our little rectangle, little phones. So for me, I know something that I'm gonna try to implement is no phone when I first wake up in the morning, and no phone like maybe an hour going into bed, like hitting the night routine or hitting the morning routine without touching the phone if you can help it. So those are some things that I'm going to try in terms of phone hygiene, making sure I take a break from all the screens, because we're on screens all day anyway, so we have to make sure we're intentional about it and making sure we take those breaks for our mental wellness as well. Number 9 on the list of wellness habits is more of a spiritual wellness. It's just making sure you have a spiritual practice. For me, that looks like increasing my prayer and Bible study time. And so that's something that has been a goal of mine for this year in general, but also for this year, just making sure I'm focusing on my spiritual journey and my spiritual foundation. And so for me, increasing my prayer time and really getting in the Word every day is ideal, and I know that does not happen, but that's again the goal. I think that will do a lot of good for my personal spiritual walk. So my goal with that is to make sure that I'm doing that first thing in the morning, making sure I pray first thing in the morning. I'm pretty good about that, but then also like supplementing that, like turning around and adding Bible study to the beginning of the day, I think will be a game changer, just to make sure I get it in. It's the first thing I want to consume over like the previous thing we talked about, over instead of your phone or something like that. Like I want to make sure instead I'm using my intentional morning routine time to pray and have Bible study. But it doesn't have to be in the morning. It can definitely be in your night routine or wherever you can fit it in, or whatever that looks like, whether it's a devotional verse of the day or whatever spiritual practice you like to observe. Just making sure you carve out intentional time for that, just for your spiritual wellness. Then the last tip, number 10 on our wellness habit list, is journaling. Again, another good one for mental and or spiritual wellness. making sure we kind of do some journaling, or I think the core thing there is some type of reflection. That can look like, I know people do gratitude journaling. Morning pages is another popular one, where you first thing in the morning write 3 pages, kind of stream of consciousness, to kind of get it all out. Some things that I like to do as well in terms of like utilizing a journal is just brain dumps, just kind of getting all the thoughts out of my head. Like I have to get it on paper, or I'll write it in my phone, like the notes in my phone, but just getting it out of my head and like written in a written place somewhere is important, just with my own mental organization. So brain dumps are a good one. I know a lot of people like to do journal prompts. There's tons of journal prompts online, or there's particular journals that you can purchase that are all prompted. I think that's I don't do that. I might try to get into that. I don't do it currently because I've seen some really good prompts that are very intentional and thoughtful and reflective on life and purpose and goals and all of those things. So I think that could be utilized for that as well. I feel like I do that more so when I'm like really sitting down and doing like a reset or a planning session. I don't necessarily think of that for like daily journaling, but you could. Just another one could be just writing down prayers or reflecting on the day, like Dear Diary style, of like what happened to you during the day, your highlights, lowlights, or just getting it all out at the end of the day. It's just a good thing. Again, this can be in the morning or in the evening, but I think I want to incorporate this habit in the evening. I think I want to open the morning with prayer, Bible study, and I want to end in the evening with like some journaling and reflection. That's just how I feel like I'm going to structure it and do it. But again, to each their own. Definitely make sure you customize it and do your reflection as you see fit. But yeah, those are my 10 wellness habits that I am going to try or improve on. I hope this is helpful for you. I hope you try them yourself. If not all 10, at least 1 or 2, a couple. I think these are the basic ones, like really foundational ones, and they seem so common sense, but I think the common sense isn't so common, right? And I think those are the easy things to overlook. So making sure we have the foundation, making sure our wellness routine like has those core things, I think is very important. But I am looking forward to also, expanding, maybe even making this a series of other wellness things I want to incorporate into my routines, whether that's, again, physical, mental, spiritual, all aspects of wellness. I definitely want to make more content around those things. So if that's something you would like, please leave a comment, a like, and subscribe to this channel. If there are any of these topics that you want to see a whole video on, because there are some of these I feel like you can just do a deep dive just on that, which I probably plan to. Please leave a comment explaining that as well. But yes, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.